Equities rallied yesterday, with the Dow Jones up 0.58% and the S&P 500 up 1.04% and the Nasdaq up 2.52%. The beneficiaries of Bitcoin's growth have grown. Tesla and MicroStrategy and the rest of the tech giants are doing well. Boeing and Nike also rose well, while General Electric and Oracle lost 7.4% and 6.53% respectively. The dollar index fell below 91.5 yesterday and the yield on 10-year bonds fell below 1.5. Market participants believed in the immutability of the monetary policy from the fears, especially since the words are confirmed by deeds, and the Fed is actively buying out bonds, and the aid package was accepted practically without reductions, and 2 new packages are on the way. It is obvious that so far this difficult choice, which he spoke about at the beginning of December, has been made in favor of further accelerating inflation. And the Massachusetts investor has nowhere else to invest. But sooner or later you will have to react to inflation. Almost $8 trillion at the end of 2020, 1.9 trillion. Now and still it is not known how much, but clearly not less than $2 trillion in technological and infrastructure packages. And 22% of all the dollars in the world that are generated in 2020 have not gone anywhere either. We already see asset inflation, cost inflation is already beginning, and I think it will become obvious to everyone by the end of the year. And if everyone knows the recipe for inflation of national currencies, to buy dollars, then what to do when the world reserve currency is hit by inflation? The main geopolitical rival of the United States is China. And there is a different approach to the situation. They do not distribute money to the population, they keep a strong yuan, at highs since 2018 against the dollar. The Chinese economy is growing better than in the United States. Can the United States in these conditions allow strong inflation of the dollar and a fall in confidence in it as a world reserve currency? Cannot. Because their status as a great power is primarily based on the dollar and keeps. This means that there will be a reaction to the situation. Or an increase in the rate or something more non-standard. The second option for the world will be much worse. Now bond yields are back at 1.6%, the dollar index is above 91.7, and S&P 500 futures are showing a slight decline. If there is no positive, then profit-taking is likely before the weekend, with a possible return of the S&P 500 to 3,900 or slightly lower. I would use this as an opportunity to pick up tech giants. Bitcoin hits highs, trading above. Review of the US stock market. America opened mostly positive. The fear went away and prices went up again. Even the tech sector glowed with optimism against this backdrop, and all the cries that the tech sector was overheated died down again, but not for long. Yields are again falling lower on bonds, and a package aimed at improving the industry was also adopted. All this plays into the hands of the stock markets. Here's what's going on for the key companies in our roundup. Boeing shares. The shares of Boeing, which we recommended to you to buy, are growing at an accelerated pace. The main focus of our idea was not even on the current position of the company, but rather on its impact and significance for the American economy. Boeing is not only civil aircraft and an oligopoly position in the market, but also the military industry, telecommunications and much more. Jobs and someone's careers in the US Congress depend on the life of this company, when Boeing needs to knock out new government orders. What is the likelihood that this company will suffer greatly? It is practically zero. Yes, I do not deny all of Boeing's problems such as large debt and past scandals, but the scandals are over and they may well pay off the debt. Otherwise, Boeing will be rescued, because from its bankruptcy there can be many times more harm. Now it is no longer worth buying, the train is leaving, and others may continue to hold or fix profits if you entered it for a short time. Freeport-McMoRan shares. An excellent situation has arisen with this company. We also gave recommendations on keeping it in the long term, and we consider it still in force, because the rise in copper prices and the demand for this resource symbolizes the restoration of the world economy and bringing it back to normal. This is also a huge rally of this company. Why are they growing faster than all competitors in the niche? They have the lowest costs in the world, and this is where the company goes further. On the technical side, a technical analysis triangle was formed and it was broken. The company can be treated both speculatively and long-term.
Speculatively, you can buy shares on a breakout and sell on renewal highs, and in the long term hold the shares until the economy recovers, because then profit-taking will begin and the shares will also fall, as well as grow.
However, not today. Today this company will still grow at a steady pace from the industrial sector. Apple shares. We haven't looked at the situation with Apple for a long time, and this is one of our key investment ideas. What's going on now? When the shares fell to $116, there was a big buyback, both by the company itself under the share buyback program, and by many investors, but it is too early to talk about a reversal. However, you shouldn't worry about that.
When the stock reverses, it will be clearly too late, so I prefer to average my positions with each new downward movement of stocks.
Yes, I heard these complaints that why did you recommend buying Apple at $135 if they fell even lower and stuff like that. I am not afraid to be responsible for my recommendations, and here is my answer. Nobody knows where the market will be for sure. Even me. Everyone in the market, from ordinary individuals to hedge funds, works with the theory of probability, and the task of everyone who wants to stay here for a long time is to successfully operate with the concepts of risk and reward. Forex Market Review for March 12. Foreign exchange markets continue to provide various opportunities. The Eurodollar has gone up, which symbolizes the optimistic mood on the stock markets. You will find out what might happen next in this review. Currency pair EUR-USD. Yesterday, I noted a possible trend that threatened the Eurodollar to continue to decline, but the price broke through the upward figure and this confirmed the upward trend for this currency pair. Now you can work again with an uptrend, but only within the day. On the daily charts, there are no confident and suitable signals with a good mathematical expectation that would suit us. The dollar begins to weaken and stock markets begin to rise again. I think we need to tell you why this is exactly what happens. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency.
During global crises, investors prefer to go to many defensive assets like gold, the yen and the Swiss franc, but when even they fall, and this is what happened a year ago, everyone went into the dollar, and when fixing profits on all world exchanges, everything goes into dollars.
Which strengthens it. Therefore, its strengthening now serves as a signal for the beginning of bearish corrections. Currency pair GBP-USD. Also, our forecast can be said to have already worked for the pound dollar.
You can, of course, greedily hold the upper border of the channel all the way, but in margin trading, I recommend focusing on the mathematical expectation.
If you entered with a risk-to-reward ratio of 1:2 or 1:3 and the price reached these values, then you do not need to drag the take profit even higher. A skilled speculator always manages to take profit on time and he never gets excited or greedy. I recommend doing the same approach to everyone else. Appropriate risk sharing can lead to success in all financial markets.